Okay, so the first topic that I want to cover is scope and nested function scope. So in this course, we are going to touch some advanced concepts and basic stuff. I'm going skip this thing because you can read it in some documentation or in some other tutorials because there are a bunch of them and advanced concepts they did not cover it properly. So our agenda just to repeat some main concepts and discuss the nested function scope. So basically we have three types of scope. Block scope, inside our curly braces we can define some variables, and these variables will be accessible from inside of these curly braces, and from outside we won't be able to access them. Function scope, it's when we define some variable inside the function, and this variable can be accessible only from inside of the function. So from a global scope we won't be able to access it. So the global scope, it's basically globally scoped variables which can be accessible from the internal block or from the function. So basically, that's all about basic concept, and let's see a small example about nested function scope. Let's clean up our intro message and let's define some variable a, which will be equal to 10. Then let's define some function which we call outer, and inside this function let's define second variable b, which will be equal to 20, and let's define another function which we call like inner. Yep, just to have some kind of convention about those functions to not miss anything. And let's define variable c, and it will be equal to 30. Okay, let's call our inner function here inside of our outer function, and afterwards let's call our outer function here. That's it. So what we're going to do inside of our inner function, let's do console log, and just let's log our variables, yeah, ABC here. Okay, so let's start our script, and we can see our variables 10, 20, 30. Okay, I guess it's expected, and let's discuss how JavaScript works, how it's searching for the values regarding the scopes. Yeah, so basically we have console log here, and first of all, JavaScript will search for some kind of variable which we're going to use here in internal scope. So basically it's our inner function scope. If we will find target variable in internal function scope, that's okay, we will use it. If not, we will go to next stage, to outer function scope. And we are going to search for our variable in outer scope. For example, let's give a bit details here about C variable. Okay, JavaScript will check in inner scope. We have C, we will log it. If we are going to log B, we check for this variable in inner function scope. We do not have it. We will go to next layer, to outer function scope. We have this variable. Okay, we will use this value. We will log B from outer function scope. About a variable, we check inner function scope, we have no such variable here. Then outer function scope, we do not have such variable, and we go here to global scope. We found this variable in global scope, and we will use this value and log it. If we do not have such variable in any scope, we will receive undefined. So I guess it's clear now. And just in case of any questions, don't be shy and write some comments. I will answer with that, and maybe we'll prepare some extra video in case of any questions. So basically that's it, and I think we're ready to go with next topic.